Like while I'm working, I'm like, dude, I'll do it in the car while I'm driving sometimes.
Don't say that on YouTube. You drive while you drive. You drive while you drive. You never look at your phone while you drive. What's up, YouTube? It's
What's
Brevity
up, guys?
Sports.
What is up?
Big Z was just explaining to us that he only ever stares at the road while he drives. He's never distracted.
I was explaining how dedicated I am to you guys, the fans, and sometimes, you know, I just think about you guys when I'm driving, and that's it. That's all I do. That's all I do while I'm driving and drive. Go Dodgers! It's baseball season.
Baseball season.
It's the one thing. Well, there's many things that actually get me through my life besides sports, but in my sports life, it's the thing that got me through this last heartbreak. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like
100%.
okay, well, at least they already reported to spring training. Like they're early, right?
Right.
Because they play in South Korea on like March 20th or something. Like they play actual games. So that was cool. You
Yep.
know, yes. What's up, YouTube? How you doing? Love you guys. I love you guys
What's up?
so much.
This is like the YouTube exclusive right here.
It
Just the
is.
YouTube gets this.
Like we're gonna have to like come up with a dance or something, or like a
Like just to
handshake,
thank
or
them for being here on our YouTube.
yeah, like
We love you.
what's gonna get the people to come over to YouTube every single week
That's the goal.
to watch
That's the
us? You
goal.
know,
Come
that's the
watch us.
goal.
Come hang out with us.
Yeah,
Come take
when
part.
when you're driving to work, if you have a long commute, listen to the pod, download it for us. You know, do that thing. But then when you're at home, you know, and you have some time, watch us on the tube.
There we
Watch us
go.
on that YouTube. Stream us onto your
Watch us
TV.
on
Show
the
your
tube.
family. Yeah, but you know what? We'll come up with a dance or something. Like we have to. And I'm not a good dancer, but I don't care. Like
Watch us on
I'll
the
do it.
tube.
I'll still do it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Big Z
we'll
said
figure
he'll
it
dance for you. I'm not dancing for you, but Big Z will. So. Oh
out.
boy.
Oh
Oh boy.
boy.
Big
All
Z
right.
said on the podcast. Here we go. We're almost there.
Let's start this thing.
Let's get it
Oh
going.
man. That is great.
Everybody wants to know the dance you're gonna do, Big Z. If you don't know and you're listening to our podcast right now, you need to know. You need to head over to YouTube before our intro song plays. We're starting this backwards. You need to know if you're listening to this podcast, you got to go to our YouTube page. It's Brevity
Please.
Sports, easy to find. We have exclusives there. Okay, there's an entire section and short videos that like you don't even get to see them if you're just listening to our podcast. But first, like, thank you for listening to our podcast. Don't stop. Like, we love you.
Don't stop.
Don't ever stop listening to our
Yeah.
podcast. In fact, tell your friends about our podcast. But then once you're ready to take that next step with us, because we're ready to take that next step with you, go over to our YouTube page because we got some really exciting, fun, exclusive stuff there. So now we're going to play our intro song. We did that in the wrong order, but it's our podcast. We'll do what we want. So
Exactly.
here we go.
Brevity.
Wow. Yes. Another episode. The best part about this one was if you are on our YouTube, there was a short there. There's like these shorts, and I'm like looking to my upper left. I don't know what face I was making. I don't know why I would think that starting a video with that face is the right face. But
I don't know if it's
highlighted. It's highlighted on our YouTube.
I don't know if that's as bad as the one on Monday morning that I made. And like first off, I look super pale for some reason. Like the lighting was bad. Like I forget that, you know, that's part of posting your face on social media is like you have to make sure the lighting's good. And also like my hair's just wild. I look like I just woke up. And then like also the face I'm making, it's just like, you know, just no. Like that
Slightly constipated because the face you just made right now is slightly constipated.
Yeah, it was like I was struggling to get pushing out, you know. So yeah, I had to work on that. We just so you know, guys, we're old men. We're not social media gurus. We struggle with it, and we once opposed it, but now we're trying to embrace it and using it for its good powers to grow.
Which, by the way, shout out to all the people on social media that are good at making themselves look good. Because every time I look at my social media, I'm like, I feel like I slightly look better than that in real life, but I'm so bad at angles. Like, I see some people hit angles that it's just like, you don't look like that. Like, how did you do this? Like,
remember the Facebook angle, the Facebook pose or whatever
Like
that was. Like
upright.
I think that's still a thing.
Okay.
At least I do it, but I guess like the first
Okay.
thing that it grabs is bad. So like I just need to make sure like I want the face. I'm making the face when I push record that I want the
We
people to
had
see.
like multiple videos last week where we didn't even use filters, which is like apparently just like a huge no-no. Like, thank God we don't have a social media person yet.
I mean, but here's the thing, man. Like, do you want to be fake? No, I don't want to be fake. Like,
Oh,
let's not use filters. Sorry, but I just want to be real. Like, this is my face. If I have a pimple on it, you can see it. It's all good. Like,
I'm
that's
gonna
what happens to
continue.
us. We get
Let me
pimples.
let me just say, anybody listen to this, he's on his own on this one. I will use filters with the bags under my
No,
eyes. Like when I
I,
wake up like five
I,
times that night,
I
I will use a
refuse.
filter.
I refuse to let you use a filter. I will. When do you post it? I will edit it and take off that filter.
I will edit it. You know how to do that. That's the best part. Is you could totally do that, and I would have no
Boom,
idea. I would have
boom.
zero idea that you did that. You know, that's the
Let's
best part.
go. Let's go.
Oh, Big Z, how was your weekend, man? Talk to me. How are you doing? How's everything going for you?
Um, you know, we all know my team lost. But I had a cool moment this weekend. So during the game,
Okay.
Oliver, who is 2 years old, is now like starting to understand the game of football, which I'm like, how does a 2 year old understand that? But he's starting to like understand who the 49ers are like through
Wow.
like this whole season and like when they score. And I was like, this is one of the moments that I've been waiting for my whole life, like ever since I wanted to become a father. And
Right.
like I want my child
Right.
to watch a game with me, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, and I want them to be happy like when our team does well. Like
Right.
I want to celebrate with them. And when the Niners scored, a couple of touchdowns during the game, every single time they
Right.
scored, he would run across the room to me, just screaming, "Yay, yay, 49er touchdown." And he gave me like the biggest hug. And I was like, this is what being a father's all about right here. Like that was so cool, man. It was definitely something that like I cherish and like I keep thinking about every day. It's like this is fun. Like this is gonna keep me going through all the heartbreak that my Dodgers are gonna give me throughout this next year, and the
Right.
Niners is next year, and everything in it. Like it doesn't matter. Like that's what I have every single time. And so like the older he gets, it's just gonna get better, right? And so that was cool. That
It
was
is.
really
It
fun.
is fun. It's fun when
Yeah.
your sons like begin to take like enjoyment in your traditions, right? Like
Yes.
Jaden was like, he was looking at the Chiefs, like, man, he's lucky. They're lucky the Rams aren't in the Super Bowl, and like it didn't matter that we lost to the Lions like 2 rounds ago. Like he was
Right.
just convinced the entire Super Bowl, like, well, Patrick Mahomes is lucky he's not playing Matt Stafford. He just embraces
Right.
the Rams, and like Grayson
Yes.
like wore his little cup jersey, like he's down. Like his favorite shirt to wear to school right now is a Max Muncy tucked in
Awesome.
jersey. And
That's
believe
sick.
me when I tell you that if I was able to influence my son, it would not be Max Muncy. I think I've
Yeah.
made this clear on any podcast that we've ever done that it would not be Max Muncy.
Yeah.
When I took him for his birthday last year at Dodger Stadium, and I said, son, I'm going to get you a Dodger jersey. You can get any name you want. Any name you want, dude. Like it's a blank canvas. Any name.
Oh
Like I always
man.
thought, like Fernando Valenzuela, like what way are you gonna go with this? Clayton
Right.
Kershaw,
Jackie Robinson.
Jackie, Oral Hershiser. Like,
Right.
what way is he gonna go with this? And then he's like, oh yeah, Max Muncy. I was like, wait, what? Of all the Dodger players, like that's the one. He's like, yeah, I love Max. And I'm like, what, buddy? Like, what? He's batting 118 right now. Like, what are we talking about here? But like that was his fandom. Like that's
There
his
you go.
boy. Like when
That's it.
free agency rolled around and Max Muncy wasn't signed by the Dodgers yet, he was terrified. He's like, Dad, what if Max Muncy goes to another team? And I'm like, probably we're better. Let me start right there. Probably we're a better team.
What do you mean?
I know.
What do you mean, Dad?
He's like, what? What are you talking about?
He's
Max Muncy's my boy. But we're not in baseball season yet. But so in my week, I had something really fun happen. Monday, I go to get in my truck. Right, I'm like, it's a beautiful Monday morning. Everybody on listening to this podcast, everybody around the world loves Mondays. Right, like
Oh, we
Mondays
love
are
it.
our
It's the
favorite
best day
day
of the
already.
week.
You
Yep.
wake up, you're like, it's Monday. what could be better? It's Monday. And I get in my truck, and all of a sudden I'm driving the kids to school, and my truck like lurches forward. I'm like, all right, that's a weird kind of feeling. That's not supposed to happen. It like my truck is lurching forward. And like, so I'm driving. I'm like, oh, maybe it's just like a problem. Like, that's weird. All of a sudden, boom, lurches forward again. I'm like, okay. So I drop the kids off, get them to school. Love you. Have a great day. All that thing. I drop my kids off like 4 days a week. I go out. I'm about to handle my business on my route. For those of you who don't know, I'm a pool guy. So like I'm about to go handle my route. As I'm driving, my truck keeps lurching. And I get this error message like, oh, there's something electrically wrong with your truck. And I'm like, what could be electrically wrong with my truck? I just drove this thing yesterday. This is ridiculous. Go down, finish my route. Luckily, like I'm able to drive this thing. Hashtag blessed, like made it through the whole day. Mm-hmm. I go to Toyota Glendora. This amazing Toyota. Like if don't go there because it's going to take my truck longer to get serviced, but they're so great. Toyota Glendora, they're so great. I love them. I've loved every experience with them. So I go in there, and the guy's like, do you see these little paw prints in your hood? And I was like, what paw prints? And he's like, yeah, you have a rodent in here. And I'm like, what? There's not a rodent in my truck, guy. I just drove this all day. He lifts up. I'm not making this up, people. He lifts up the engine cover, and boom, a rat jumps out and jumps down my intake. And I was like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, if you listen to this podcast regularly, you know
that's awesome.
2 months ago, we killed a rat. We killed a rat. Right. We caught a rat. We killed it. Sorry, PETA. We did kill it. He got stuck in the wrong trap, even though all the traps would have killed him. I don't know why I'm apologizing. Every trap was designed to kill him. But regardless, he's dead. This is a new rat now that infested my truck and ate my electrical. Okay. Caused serious damage to my truck. I got it back today. So I'm just hoping, please, no more rats, like for a while. Like no more rats. Just let my stuff be. Okay. I already had to replace my washer and dryer. If we could please. And we're not those people, man. Like we're not pack rats. Like we get rid of stuff. Like our house is predominantly clean.
Right.
Like we do not we're not hoarders. You know what I mean? Like when it comes time, like, let's do spring cleaning. Yeah. Like
minimalists.
I don't know that I can call us minimalists, but like I would say that like majority, like when like the next year comes, we have no problem saying, let's get rid of these toys, these clothes. Yeah, exactly. Let's buy some new stuff. Let's get rid of that. We don't want clutter. And so to have these like rodents, it's just disgusting. It's disgusting to me.
Oh, it is. Yeah, man. I a few months ago, I was sitting in the same room. We weren't doing the pod. I was sitting in the same room on the computer, and I see a freaking mouse. A mouse. Right,
but those are at least cute. Those are at least cute.
No. It's not cute, dude. It's not cute.
A mouse is cute.
When it's in my house, it's disgusting. It's a rodent. Regardless, it's a rodent.
That's fair.
And it ran across. It went underneath into the bathroom.
You can't catch that. It's a mouse.
And I was like, I don't know where it's going. I don't know. And I tried to I put like stuff on the underneath the door. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna like make sure I'm gonna trap this thing in, and then I got a bucket and a broom. And I was like, I'm gonna sweep this thing in and put a plate on top of it and just throw it outside. I can't kill it. And I went in there. It was gone. Who knows where it went, bro?
It was in your bed as we speak.
And then 3 months or 2 months later, I'm on. Someone walks by my house on my Ring camera. Someone walks by my house, and they're like walking, and then they turn the corner and they freeze and like, oh, and like this is like, what happened outside? So like I let them go, and I'm like, okay, it's been 5 minutes, and I go outside, turn the corner, the mouse is on its back, dead. I don't know if it was that one or is that, but like I set a trap outside, and so it probably.
You sent a message. You got it. You sent a message to the Mouse Kingdom.
The freaking mouse is just on its back, and I was like, "Oh shoot!" Like that's what the lady was.
I know. The worst part is like when you deal with the repercussion of it. Like my mother-in-law sitting there telling me, like, "You can't get kill traps. You can't get kill traps." I'm like, "Ma, I need this thing out of my house. Like my kids are freaked out. Danielle's freaked out. Everybody's freaked out. Like I need this thing out.
You got
of my
a baby,
house.
dude.
Right? I got a baby. Like it's me or it's a survival of the fittest, baby. Like it's me or this rat." Like, but then I still felt bad when like the morning I woke up and it was in like the stick trap and it was whining. I was like, "Oh my God, what do I do? Like I can't unstick it." You know? It was excruciating. We would. The moral of the story is. It's hard. It's hard.
We got rodent problems, I guess.
You know,
that's the morals. Yeah, it is.
I feel like I will say I feel like if it was like to survive, I could take down an animal. Like if I needed to eat, you know, like I could do it. I could get in that mindset. But when it's just like inconveniencing me, I guess I feel a little bit bad. Is the moral story.
Right? Because you know they have like little rat babies or mouse babies.
God, nobody's talking about their babies, Bixie. What's wrong with you? Why are you making this dark?
But you know, it
In
is
my
what it
mind, my
is.
rat was a bachelor and he had it coming, like he was sort of a
That's
player
fair.
rat that was just like in existence, like just not committed, not tied down, probably just like the scum
Play a
of all
rat.
rats. Yeah, like a play, like that's the backstory. I mean, we are a sports podcast. That was horrible. It was a horrible intro. Welcome in. We are Brevity Sports. If you missed the obvious intro, that was not the normal intro. Please go follow our YouTube. Hit that subscribe. Hit the likes. We love it. Thank you so much. We actually did have a more people watching our YouTube last year. You get to watch all our hand
We
motions,
did.
all of our ridiculous faces, and then obviously the intro that you don't get for our podcast because we start the YouTube first. So it's kind of like fun. You get a little bit of insider info. But Big Z, let's jump right in here. You were on Cloud Nine last podcast. You
Oh,
had
I
a football
was.
team, bang bang Niner gang. You did the cheer for the
I'll still
people.
do it. Bang bang Niner gang.
So he's ready for next year. Next
I'm
year, he's
ready.
already ready to get hurt again. Big
Yep.
Z, what happened to Super Bowl? What went wrong, dude? Like it seemed like you guys had this thing. You were stopping the Chiefs. Mahomes was having a bad game, and then it just crumbled. It just crumbled.
Every single thing possible. And it's like this every single year, it seems. Um, as a Niner fan, as a Dodger, everything. I don't know where to begin with this
Everything.
one. I
Everything.
don't know where to begin this one. Let's start with the first drive. Niners they get the ball first and they are driving down on the Chiefs. And then we're within our own 20 or the Chiefs 20-yard line. We're in the red zone and CMC fumbles the ball. When does CMC ever fumble the football, especially in a big game in the red zone? When does that ever happen? Let's see what else. Dre Greenlaw, our monster outside linebacker who has held Kelsey at that point to one receiving yard, one catch, is going on the field after a kickoff, and he's just jumping up and down, hyping himself up, and he ruptures his Achilles. And then after that, Kelsey gets about 93 receiving yards because they put in his backup, who they picked on, and Mahomes was 7 for 7 against that specific defender after Dre Greenlaw went out. So that was obviously a huge impact to the game. And then in overtime on 3rd and 4, we had Brock Purdy get the ball. It's a play action fake. He fakes the handoff to CMC. You have Jennings open on the right, Ayuk open on the left. But for some reason, Jake Brendel, our right guard, decides I'm not going to block anyone. And that person I'm not going to even touch is Chris Jones. Yeah. And Chris Jones comes straight through the offensive line untouched. Mind you, if Brendel had just put his hands on him, it is a quarter of a second longer where Purdy is able to actually see one of those guys open and he throws a touchdown. I'm not going to say we'd win the game, but we'd be up by a touchdown. No one on this earth is going to be able to not throw it away when Chris Jones is coming untouched at you. And there's so many more things, but that's just a few of them that just went completely wrong for us. And it was terrible. It was terrible.
I mean, Greenlaw going down, as soon as that happened, I thought you guys are in trouble because that opened up for the middle for Kelsey. Like you said, he had one catch, and then all of a sudden he was arguably the MVP of the game. He started going off. He was their lead receiver. Obviously, Mahomes won that award, and that made sense. I mean, Mahomes he just balled, and I remember texting you like in the third. I was like, "You have to score. Like Mahomes is eventually going to score. Like you have to score." So, I mean, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like this is more on Shanahan than it was Brock Purdy. I felt like Brock
had a great game.
Was doing everything he could do. Yeah. He was on pace to break 300 yards, and then he just had zero time the second half. It just seemed like every play he was under duress. Somebody was in his face. Somebody was like tipping the ball. Like there's people trying to put together highlights of like him missing Debo and missing Ayuk, just like blatantly just missing the fact that he was being pressured terribly. Like not only those plays, but all around it, he was getting hit. I mean, the dude was hit play after play after play. I mean, there was a couple hits in there by Chris Jones that you thought, dude, this guy's not getting up. Like there's no way this guy's getting up, and he would pop up, brush himself off, and keep going. Like Shanahan, this was one of those situations where he's obviously a great coach, but at some level, you have to be able to adjust. Like when your offensive line is just getting eaten up like that, like at some point, you got to try something.
Also, another thing to add to my list, our starting right guard got hurt in the third.
There it is.
So he got out. So you have his backup come in and all of a sudden, right. So, but to your point, I agree with you 100%.
Scramble Purdy.
Start scrambling Purdy to the left, running the ball to the left. A big gripe I had with the play calling, with the run calls in the second half, was that he just had Christian McCaffrey go up the middle, right into Chris Jones every single time. I'm like, what are you doing? Go off tackle. You have literally the best left tackle in the game in Trent Williams. Go to the left off of him, and he's going to figure it out how to get you at least 3 to 4 yards
100%.
Every single time. And they were getting 0 to -2 yards the whole third quarter whenever they'd run. And Purdy, he didn't have any time. The people saying that, Brock Purdy wasn't able to get it to Ayuk. He wasn't able to get it to Debo. He was 8 for 20 when he tried to throw to them, but he was 12 for 13 to all the other guys. Those are the same people who were griping on him the whole season. Like, he just uses Ayuk. He just throws it to Debo. He just throws it to CMC the whole time. And, I would be efficient too if I did that. And then when he's not able to do that because the Chiefs corners are great, the safeties are great.
Spagnuolo's like arguably the greatest defensive mind. He stopped Tom Brady and Randy Moss. He's so good.
Yeah, and when he's not able to do that and goes literally 12 for 13 to all the other guys, they give him crap for it. And I'm like, stop. Just stop with this Purdy hate. Like, you are so dumb. Yesterday, I was listening to Colin Cowherd, and he said that Patrick Mahomes dinking and dunking is winning football. When all I've ever heard from Colin Cowherd about Brock Purdy, which Brock Purdy rarely dinks and dunks, but when he does, he says that when Brock Purdy does that, it's not winning football, and that's all he can do because he doesn't have an arm. I'm like, where's the consistency here? Like,
Colin is completely falling off to me.
And so I feel going into next year, I feel very confident in the 49ers chances just because Brock Purdy has an offseason now. Like last year, he had UCL surgery. He didn't come back until August, until training camp started. So I feel very, very confident in his ability to up his game. He's going into his third year.
He's going to level up.
He's going to level up.
He's going to level up. There's no question. Look at his run game. Look at his run game improvement, his mobility. Everything he's already worked on. He was better from at the end of the season, the start of the season. If I'm a Niner fan, I'm not worried.
No,
the quarterback is going to level up. This is what he does. He was Mr. Relevant, the last pick of the draft, and then he just took his team to the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship. No big deal. I'm not worried if I'm them at all. Having said that, I will say this was a tough game to watch. If you're a Niner fan, if you're a Chiefs fan, I feel like they just knew. They just knew that Patrick Mahomes at some point was going to get back into this game. And everybody wants to talk about calls and this and that. Like, Kansas City was always going to get the calls. Kansas City always gets the calls. Right. Like, this is not new. Like, was it egregious? Probably. But like,
yeah, it was. But
they always get the calls.
Pat Mahomes had a great overtime. Like, he went 8 for 8, 69 yards. Like,
rushing.
He was literally, he had rushing. Like, it was that was vintage Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
But up to that point in the fourth quarter, his defense kept him in the game.
Right.
He only scored 19 points. His defense was the one. His defense, in my mind, should have gotten the MVP. Like Chris Jones, one of the corners of safeties should have gotten the MVP. But it's the sexy thing to do to give the quarterback the MVP. And Patrick Mahomes, of course, he won them the game. But the only other touchdown he threw was because of a muffed punt by us. And the guy was literally right open the next play. So like he did not have a good game. He looked completely lost, completely frustrated. But the overtime, I will give it to him. That was Patrick Mahomes
But see, that's
last season.
That's what separates the GOATs to me. And that's what this game was about is you cannot make mistakes against Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
You can't make mistakes against Tom Brady. You can't make mistakes against Patrick Mahomes. He's going to eat you up if you do. He's going to make you pay. And that's what happened. The Niners had ultimately, if you look at this game top to bottom, the Niners had a better game from top to bottom. but they just made mistakes, right? The muff punt, the fumble, the missed extra point, even the overtime coin toss. I mean, taking the ball first with the Super Bowl rules. I get Shanahan wanting to set the tone and come out and say, I want to score a touchdown and challenge them to copy us. Like, I get it. But at the same time, like, if you're playing somebody like Patrick Mahomes, you got to know what you need to do.
I'll defend him on that. So it came out, some people said that, we didn't know the rules for overtime, but Kyle came out the next day. I was like, no, we went over with the staff, the overtime rules. We went over scenarios, and they told the players. And secondly, one of the reasons why they took it to receive is because their defense just got drove on, like literally just then. So like they were tired, like Patrick Mahomes just drove the field on them, and they didn't want to go back on the field again. And the third reason why is because they wanted to take the ball, score, and most likely Patrick Mahomes was going to answer and score, right? And then they wanted to have the ball the third time for the third possession, and whoever scores that next possession wins. And the analytics, and I'm not a big analytic guy. I hate the advanced analytics at least. The advanced analytics say if you take the ball first, when you're playing Patrick Mahomes, you're going to get it again the third time. And then you're most likely going to win the game because of that, because you just need a field goal at that point. That's why he took it. There's pros and cons to it, obviously. If we score a touchdown on that first possession, then it's a whole different story. And then the Chiefs have to get a touchdown. And then, I will say though, I think that that Kyle Shanahan messed up. Instead of going for a field goal after that failed third down, we should have gone on fourth down, because regardless, if we don't get it on fourth down, they still have to drive 96 yards.
Right, it's a Super Bowl.
Treat it as four down territory.
Patrick Mahomes is on the other side of the field.
Exactly.
You've got to score a touchdown, especially when you give him the ball.
Dan Campbell mentality right there.
Right.
That's where Dan Campbell's like, okay, like
let's bite a kneecap. Bite a kneecap.
I will say Shanahan misjudged there.
There's just no way I'm going to give Patrick Mahomes the ball with 4 downs when I only had 3. That's it. Like
exactly.
If it's another quarterback, like if it's any other guy, if I'm playing Lamar Jackson and like that's a direct shot, like at us, comment at Frito, like whatever you want to do at Frito Lay, whatever you want to do at me. Like if it's Lamar Jackson, if it's Josh Allen, if it's Joe Burrow, if it's Justin Herbert, name that quarterback. If it's him, cool, whatever. Like let's roll with the analytics. Patrick Mahomes, you cannot give him 4 downs. Because the man has shown, you give me 4 downs, I'm going to score. I'm going to score 10 out of 10. You ain't stopped me for 4 downs. That's what killed you about it. But again, I mean, it really just, we talked about it, man. Health is huge. Luck is huge. You got to be lucky to be good to be lucky. We talked about it when the Rams won their Super Bowl. I still to this day do not think we were the best team in the NFL that year. We got hot at the right time. We brought back a wily vet, and it all worked out. That's how you need equal parts luck and to be good. Shout out to the Chiefs.
Shout out to them, and it's at this point, it's Patrick Mahomes, and like every other quarterback's just living in his world.
Don't compare him. Don't compare him. Stop it. Stop comparing him.
Exactly. It's Mahomes and the rest of the other 31 starting quarterbacks. It is like if the Rams had played them, like I don't know, would they win? It's yes. Like you said, it's all about luck. Well, not all about luck. It's your talent, but some things have to fall in your favor, right? And so those years that Mahomes doesn't make it, it's like okay, like that's the thing.
I'll tell you why the Rams would win, because our receivers don't go get on Instagram right after they lose the game. That's why. What's up? Oh snap! Didn't know I was bringing that up, did you? Oh boy!
Bring it up. What do you want to talk about?
So Ayuk, right? Ayuk goes on Instagram. His brother immediately calls out, 3 targets, even though he had 3 targets in the win against Green Bay. Right. It was kind of weird to me. It was like, why Ayuk? Like you won. Like you won every other game. You didn't have a problem with it. And if you want to get targeted more. I mean, Brock Purdy is not the dude. He's intelligent. This is what I love about Brock Purdy is that Brock Purdy, I'm going to tell you right now what I like about Brock Purdy that a lot of people don't appreciate about Brock Purdy. It's that I want to take you back a few years ago, Big Z. A few years ago, there was a gentleman who was quarterbacking the Browns. He's still in the league. We all know what I'm talking about. And he had a wide receiver core, Odell Beckham. He had Kareem Hunt in backfield. He had just dogs all around him. Everybody thought the Browns, they're going to do it. OBJ, right? They're going to do it. This is huge. Look at this team. They're stacked. And yet Baker, as great of a season as he had this year, right? I'm not trying to take a shot at Baker. That's why I didn't want to mention him, but I have to mention him so that anybody listens knows who I'm talking about. Baker is a great quarterback. I hope he stays with the Bucs. He earned that. Let me just start right there. Having said that, he was not ready for the moment to have all these weapons. And I think that's what I love about Brock Purdy. When I watch Brock Purdy play this game, he plays it as if he does not have a star.
Yep.
He plays it the way the offense is designed to be played, to the open man. If that means I'm hitting this dude out here who's caught 2 balls all playoffs, so be it. Right? He doesn't care. It's the same thing that Patrick Mahomes did on the final drive.
It's what he always does. Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes hits the open man.
He's great.
That's why he's great. And I see Purdy, not that I'm making that comparison, but I think that's what I love about Purdy is
smart.
All the star-studded players. Oh, why doesn't he hit Kelsey? Why doesn't Ayuk? Because he's busy throwing to the open man.
Right.
So the idea that anybody, including Ayuk, would call him out for that is just foolish. It's just foolish at best. And I'm sorry. Like
I don't know if he was calling Purdy out. He was probably more calling Shanahan out.
No, like not designing plays for him, maybe.
Yeah, because him and Purdy are really tight. Like Ayuk and Jimmy never really. Not saying that they didn't get along, but there just wasn't that camaraderie. But Ayuk and Purdy, you can tell like they're bros. At least like in the locker room, all season. Ayuk's been having Purdy's back, and a lot of media people attack him. So I think it was more, Shanahan or the coaching staff, like, why weren't you calling plays for me? I think it was more of that. But the reason why he didn't throw to him is because their defense, like they were playing man defense, and they have very, very good corners. And that defense is all week it was, going up to it, they were talking about how elite those corners were.
Right.
And they're the ones who kept them in that game, like I said. And so that's why, and like you said, he's going to throw it to guys that are open. And
look at Debo. Look at that throw to Debo. I mean, was there contact early? Yes, but was Snead so all over that coverage on Debo that it didn't matter?
I thought it was a touchdown, dude. Like when he let that ball go, I was like, oh, that's a pretty ball. That is such a good ball.
It was perfectly thrown.
And it was. And this is football. Everyone gets hit. Like, it wasn't egregious. I'm not going to say that it was a pass interference. It was a great defensive play.
But to me,
that's how good they are. Yeah.
In that case, like this is where, as much as I defended Brock with Ayuk, and like a guy, like when I saw this post from Ayuk, it's tough to say because I do think Ayuk is a dog. I think he has a great future in this league. What I want from my number one receivers is I don't care who's covering you. You go up and you win the ball. Right. You win the ball. If it's one-on-one, you go win me the ball. That's what separates the AJ Brown from the Justin Jefferson. That again, it's not just, this isn't just a shot at Debo. Like this is what, to me, this is what separates the elites from like the not elite. This is why as a Rams fan, I wasn't upset when the call wasn't made, because I felt like Cooper Kupp, if Cooper Kupp is targeted, he's proven time and time again, you can grab him, you can do whatever you need to do. He's going to go up, he's going to get the ball, and he's going to find a way. Like the guys in this league that find a way to get their hands to the ball are the guys that do it. Those are the receivers that are your true blue wide receiver ones. But again, it was such a good game. It was a classic. It just sucks.
Yeah.
I think it sucks when you're on the wrong side of it.
It does.
That's probably the biggest issue.
The biggest thing I came out of it was that we have a quarterback who can really ball in this league. And I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the league, but he's definitely something that we have not had in decades.
He's only going to get better. This is the second year.
Exactly.
He's only going to get better.
And now that he can build upon an offense, that Kyle Shanahan offense, and now Kyle and him can talk like, hey, which plays do you prefer now? Like you're healthy. Like that's going to be great. And that's really going to help them out. When it comes to Ayuk, man, like I can't defend him. It was pretty dumb that he went after. Like, obviously, I know like he was
emotions are high.
And sad.
I'm sure he's already talked to them. I'm sure he's fine now. I'm sure,
but like he is in the last year of his contract now. This upcoming year, they're gonna have to pay him if they want to keep him, and so it's gonna get interesting for sure. But this is what I don't like about just like the wide receiver core in general in the NFL. They're just super diva-y, and it's annoying. Like Debo did the same thing, and then he got his contract extension, right? So, I think that Ayuk has a lot to build upon. I think that Purdy elevated him this year and made him, a name that people are talking about, and people now see him as definitely
Right.
a great number two wide receiver, one B on some teams. And so it's definitely going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with him this offseason. But it is embarrassing. It's a bad look for sure. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, they already
Yeah.
paid Debo, so their hands are sort of tied. And you hope that you hope that his struggles did have something to do with his injury, because obviously he left the game a little bit. So obviously it's obvious
Yeah.
Debo was not at 100%. Like that's for sure obvious in this game. Debo was carrying some kind of injury, but again, you got to say at some point, just and we've said it time and time again, all credit to Kansas City Chiefs, and you're lucky to have Mahomes, because Mahomes is that dude. He's
I
on
think you're
another
lucky to
level,
have
and he's always going to score.
you're lucky to have Mahomes. You're lucky to have Andy Reid.
It's the perfect situation.
Like they have the perfect equation. You're lucky to have Spags. You're lucky to have Kelsey.
Yeah.
But Kelsey, man, like, he had a great game, but I don't like the guy anymore. Like the way that he bumped into Andy Reid and like almost knocked out his coach. I'm like, dude, this guy's like 70 years old. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Right.
Like get a hold of yourself.
Travis,
Like
he had to
chill out, dude.
Yeah. He had to address it. He had to address it.
But it's like last year you weren't like this.
No.
Your whole career you have never been like this. And now all of a sudden, your social life is blowing up and people are looking at you and you got a little big head, bro. Like stop, just chill. Like Andy Reid is bigger than you. Andy Reid will always be bigger than you. Stop. That's all I'll say about that.
He went on his podcast today. He's talking about his fire, his passion. Jason, his brother, was sort of defending him as you'd expect a good brother too. And he explained, him and Andy Reid were cool. In fact, he said on the podcast, like right after that play, Andy Reid came up and said, like, dude, I also have cameras on me. Like, you can't do, like, this is a bad look for you. You know what I mean? Like, he was honest with him, but like, it wasn't, they've been working together for so long. Here's what I will say is, like, I agree. I have very little respect. And the idea that, like, even their podcast, they're talking about it today, because I was listening to their podcast. They were like, yeah, I hate how people will weigh in on something that, like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, you signed the contract. You get paid millions. Of course, we're all going to weigh in. And this looked bad. Yeah. It made you look awful. It was awful. You basically bumped into and surprised 70-year-old guy who's one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Right.
I know it's your passion. I know, you can make all these arguments about this is what makes you a great tight end. This is what makes you one of the greatest tight ends of all time. First, you're not Rob to me. You're not Rob Gronkowski. You got 2 Super Bowls. Keep going. Maybe you'll get there. Second, don't attack a coach like this. Not physically. I don't mind the yelling. I really don't.
The yelling's fine.
The yelling's fine. Like, if you're going to go yell,
yes,
like Tom Brady and McDaniels and Bill, we've all seen those guys yell at each other. I've seen Matt Stafford and McVay get into it. Like, the yelling happens. Don't get physical. Don't cross that physical barrier of where your coach is almost falling over. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. I don't care how strong the moment is. You have to be better than that. I will say, again, to his credit, he thought, and he said on his podcast, like, dude, if Andy Reid walks over and punches me, like, I accept it. Like, it was a bad look. So,
yeah,
but it still wasn't a good look,
No, it wasn't.
But the Chiefs win the Super Bowl.
They did.
And
congrats to them.
That was congrats. They did it. They're right now. They're the dynasty. So if you don't like the Chiefs, you're hoping somebody from somewhere will rise up and take it away. They're obviously the Patriots, right? Like, the Patriots of old are now the Chiefs. It seems like the dynasty was handed off to the next. So here we are now. Who will stop them next year? We don't know. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, maybe. We do know is that McCole Hartman was predicted by that mentalist dude, which is crazy.
That's true. That is true.
That's insane. That's insane,
crazy, bro.
That dude called that. Have you seen his videos?
Oh yeah. No, I watched that episode on Hard Knocks.
Oh God. But like the fact that he like did he like went to the Bengals. He went to the Bengals and like he had Joe Burrow standing there and like called out his receivers like, hey, do you guys know each other from like when you're little? And like, no, of course we don't. And he's like, okay, think of your first crush. And like he brought up Joe Burrow. He's like, Joe, all right, I'm gonna like, what grade was it? And like Joe's like fourth grade or something like that. He's like, oh, what was her name? And Joe's like, Sarah. And the guy's like, oh my God. He just leaves. I'm like, this is crazy. This is insane. And Jaden's like looking at me like, we're watching this. We're watching this on like ESPN highlights. Jaden's looking at me like, Dad, what is happening? I was like, dude, I don't know. That guy, when you stay away from people like that, son, like there's some kind of voodoo. No, I'm just kidding. But it was like, it's just crazy. It's like, how do you explain that to a child? Like Jaden's looking at me like, Dad, how did he do that? I was like, I don't know. I have no idea. This is because your kids like look at you. Like as a father, like you have all the answers.
Yeah. You have to know everything.
Yeah. So when they look at you with something like that, like we go to Disneyland, right? And like Jaden's like, Dad, when was that ride bill? Like, dude, how would I know that? Like, how can I possibly know that? It was like one of those videos, like, Dad, what, how'd that guy do that? Like, dude, I don't know. I'm not a mentalist. I have no idea how that guy did that. Like, what are we talking about, kid? But again, shout out to the Chiefs. Congrats to you. Mahomes is a GOAT. Kelsey is not a GOAT, but he's on his way to being in the conversation of great tight ends.
So great.
He's great. He's great.
Yeah.
He's great. But
yeah, shout out to them.
Shout
out to Andy Reid. But
again, shout out to Mahomes, dude. Winning it with Nicole Hartman, MVS, and Rice as your top 3 receiver. I mean, that's crazy.
Rice is a dog, dude.
He will be a dog.
No, he is now. But the rest of them are not. But Rice is. And you had Kelsey. I mean, let's not forget he had Kelsey.
It's big.
Yeah. But no, for sure, for real, like everyone wrote them off this year. Like we wrote them off.
How could you not? They look terrible.
And so to come back and to win the Super Bowl and the way they did it in that last drive, that was Patrick Mahomes, dude. That I was like, okay, like
he just ran.
Whatever,
doing
like
it all.
We lose. Like if I'm gonna lose to Patrick Mahomes, like that's how I want to lose because that was just like the perfect Patrick Mahomes, and I was like, I can't stop that. No defense can stop that. Steve Wilkes today, the defensive coordinator, was fired by the 49ers.
Wow.
So this year, their defense was definitely suspect to the run and the deep ball, and so there's rumors like that they're looking for that Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel for their defensive coordinator job.
Ooh,
I think that a big thing I'll tell you what I love what the Rams is that they sold out and they traded all their draft picks to get Stafford and they traded all the guys to get Von Miller. Like,
yes,
that's what the Niners have not. Like they got CMC, but everything else like they have not done that. And they're like, well, we need to keep these draft picks. And like, go get someone now. Like now
this is your moment.
Like this window is closing and it closes fast in the NFL. Like not everyone's the Brady or Mahomes era. Like everyone else, you're the other 31 teams. Like you're better than you're better than the 30 teams. Yeah. But you're not better than the Chiefs right now. And so go sell out, go trade your draft.
Go get that win.
Go get Vrabel, get Belichick as your defensive coordinator because those guys are great minds on defense. Like do something and sell out. So,
because you're not beating the Chiefs, just like heads up.
Exactly. And the fact that they fired Steve Wilkes after being the runner up to the Super Bowl, their defensive coordinator, 3 days later is a sign to me that like, no, we need perfection. Like we're not okay with just like being an average defense. Like we need someone to lead this defense and to be great again. And this is how we're going to win the Super Bowl. So
right.
Good for them. I mean, it sucks. I don't wish that he lost his job, but like he's a great football mind. Like he'll get.
I mean, you have to. Job. Yeah, at some point you have to rest.
But at some point,
Fred's not getting younger.
Yes,
Fred's not getting younger.
Right.
Kittle's not getting younger. McCaffrey you just got, but he's not going to get younger.
No.
Yeah, Purdy is like your youngest dude.
Right.
Like, that's your young gun. Like this is your moment. You need to win relatively soon. The Rams are going to be great because we got Nakua. So next year's going to be fun.
Yeah.
But that's it. The NFL season is wrapped up.
Done.
So next week we're coming at you with a really fun baseball episode, more geared in that direction. Like we love baseball. So we're gonna start talking about some baseball. We got some March Madness stuff coming up for you guys. Obviously some NHL, some NBA as we go on. But for those who are a little bit more, they got a little more, a little different taste. F1, right?
F1,
all the cars.
Dude, F1's fun.
The cars are going to be released. If you haven't watched Drive to Survive on Netflix, go watch it. It's amazing. Okay. And we're not being paid by Netflix. It's not a commercial. I love it. Okay. It's gotten me totally hooked. The cars are released this month. Race start next month. I can't wait.
You hooked? Are you hooked?
I'm hooked. I'm hooked.
Bro, it's fun. It is fun to watch.
How crazy. Like, this is the last season. Sainz is leaving Ferrari. Hamilton is leaving Mercedes. It's crazy. I mean, this is it. This is like the last year of guys who have been in their seats
Right.
for years.
Yep. It's the last
And
year.
now
Man.
Verstappen screwed all that up. Verstappen was like, I'm unbeatable in a Red Bull car. So everybody else figured it out. He is the Chiefs. He is the Chiefs of F1.
He is the Chiefs of F1. There you go. See, these are the way that we can link these sports to football. Okay.
Right.
So now you can.
Next time you guys are out for a beer or whoever, guys, like whoever, go out. Yeah. And if somebody brings up F1, just say Verstappen is the Chiefs. And they'll be like, yeah, it's totally true.
Yeah, bro. And then
because it's
boom,
real.
You're talking about F1 for hours.
See? You did it. You just sip on a beer and we make you look smart here at Brevity Sports. Big Z, this has been fun.
Yeah, it felt good to vent my frustrations about
it out there.
Another Niners loss.
Get it out there.
So it felt good. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm excited for baseball season. I'm excited for March Madness.
Yeah.
That's always fun. Obviously, big Dodger fan, excited for the Ohtani era to start.
We're keeping you updated.
We're gonna keep you guys updated. We're gonna go behind the scenes. Not really, but we're gonna go behind the scenes as much as we can.
We'll be at the scenes. I'm going to Dodger games. We'll be on the scenes.
Oh yeah, we'll be on the scenes. And
yes,
from above, coming at you guys. But yeah, you guys are awesome. Subscribe on the YouTube channel, please. Like our videos. We appreciate you all the support lately. We've been seeing results. So yeah, thank you guys. Have a good week.
Yeah. Keep telling your friends, keep telling your family. We are Brevity Sports. We love you. Again, hit that subscribe on YouTube. Give us a like. We're on every social media platform. Literally Brevity Sports. Find us. We post. I'm not going to say we post every day.
We post enough for what we should do.
A decent amount. We're also not clickbaiters. I'm not just gonna start a fight for no reason. When I say Colin Cowherd is just off his rocker recently, he's off his rocker recently.
Oh, he's so off his rocker.
But he even walks back. Today, he came out and was like, the Niners only lost because they're unlucky. I'm like, dude, yesterday you were talking about how bad Brock Purdy is. What are you talking about? Come on, son.
He's off his rocker.
Inconsistent. But this has been fun. We'll join you next week. As always, next Thursday or Wednesday. Typically, it's Thursdays. Look out for our latest drop, Brevity Sports. Follow us on YouTube. Thank you for listening. Have a great night.